Oh, we've got that hotness, a must-see marquee matchup between number 21 Tennessee and number 22 Georgia. Lady Vols are on one right now. They just upset the number 2 team in the country Thursday. Talk about South Carolina. And Rocky Top is still coming in on a high. Now, Georgia, of course, they're like, we're not messing around. They're right on Tennessee's heels at number 4 in the SEC standings. Of course, Bulldogs winners of 3 straight. Remember, you finish in the top 4, you get a double bye in the SEC tournament. We are pumped. Stoked to be here with you, Steffi Sorensen, Tiffany Green. Check this out. It's about to go down, okay? Tennessee picking up their first win against a top 5 opponent since 2017, and they did so with an incredible second half.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a turning point for Tennessee, and this one's going to be a thriller. The first game came down to the wire. Both teams playing well.
All right, they tipped it already, and we are underway from Stegman Coliseum. And I'll tell you this, Rennia Davis, of course, had a huge showing against South Carolina. Meanwhile, for Georgia, you take a look at their starting lineup. Jenna Stady, we were talking about just before this game, just how she will come into today, given the fact that she didn't play her best ball against Tennessee in that opening game. And Tennessee coming in at 13-5 overall on the season. Rae Burrell, though, has been the nice, consistent part of that tandem. Rennia Davis, you know, she can hit you with that big punch, and here she goes off the glass for the first 2 of this game.
Yeah, Tiffany, against South Carolina, Rennia Davis didn't score in the first half. She ended up having 24 and 12, made all 10 free throws in that second half. And, you know, going into the half, Tennessee was down by 12, and Kelly Harper wasn't exactly happy with her team, told them they were soft. And Rennia Davis was like, look, I'm going to show you I'm not soft. And she went off in that second half. Big reason why they upset South Carolina.
Yeah, you got to feel an extra sense of motivation when your coach comes in and says, hey, you're soft. And Rennia Davis was like, that was a gut check for us. Down low to Kassiana Kushkitawa, and she's off the mark. Stady off the mark, coming back the other way with the rebound. He's Jordan Walker. Walker trying to take it all the way and pops in and out. But this is a Georgia group who's been playing some really good basketball as of late and really throughout the season, missing a bunny there. And a quick turnover as the Bulldogs get the ball back. And when you look at just what they've done this season, Joni Taylor's group has picked up a couple of, or rather a few wins against some of the teams in that net top 25. And just overnight, moved to a 3 seed in Charlie Cream's latest bracketology.
Picked to finish 9th in the SEC, sitting pretty right now in the top 4. And Q Morrison is having herself a heck of a season, finally healthy. A big part of the reason why she's such a defensive force to be reckoned with, but her scoring has really amped up in conference play, which is an added bonus for her being out there.
From the free throw line, again, Tennessee off the mark there, off the fingertips of Kushkitawa. Gabby Connolly, one of the seniors here, finds Morrison, who is averaging double figures at 11 points per game. Here she is from the elbow. And Davis, one of those incredibly good rebounding guards. We talked about bringing in 9 a game. She collects it. Tennessee working in the half court.
I think the front court for Tennessee, Tiffany, has just been playing so well. Tamari Key has really come into her own, averaging 11.5 points in conference play. Cassie Kushkitawa as well. The front court really playing well. We talk a lot about Rae Burrell and Rennia Davis. but I feel like the team-wise is playing much better.
And Stady amongst all those trees trying to go get the rebound, but called for a traveling violation. We look back to just a few days ago, and that was a huge win, a historic one for this Tennessee program, snapping South Carolina's 31-game SEC win streak. That was the second longest ever, behind, ironically, Tennessee's 36-game win streak some years back. But that win was just a huge confidence builder and booster for a team who already felt pretty good coming into this year.
I mean, they've got really good wins, but it was kind of like the primetime game when everyone's watching Tennessee. Can they finally close out the game? And they did. And they did it against one of the best teams in the country. Georgia just making it so hard as for the front court for Tennessee to score. And we knew this was going to be a dogfight. Both teams have really strong post presence. Jordan Isaacs, that energy player for Joni Taylor, drawing the offensive foul.
And a turnover right back from Georgia off Mike Caldwell, going up and down saying, oh, just a little indecision there. But again, we talk about, you know, Joni Taylor's group and just the way that they've been able to win ball games this season. It's all about team. They do it as a group.
Yeah. Their bench has been brilliant for Joni Taylor. Their bench has outscored opponents in every game but 4 this season. And there's really just unselfish play, and that's kind of always been the Georgia way after talking to Joni Taylor, and she knew that the buy-in was there coming off a Georgia Tech game earlier in the non-conference where, you know, Gabby Connolly and Jenna Stady, Q Morrison, some of those players maybe not playing as many minutes, knowing that she could shuffle the lineup and play multiple people with the depth this year.
Well, about 3 orange jerseys around Jenna Stady, and you see her keeping the ball high, putting it right back up, and she's fouled. She'll go to the line and shoot a couple.
Look, my eyes are all on Jenna Stady, and we were talking about Georgia being a team, a well-balanced team, but Jenna Stady in the first game did not play well against Tennessee. Just 14 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds. She really didn't play much even in the second half. And a senior, this is a rivalry game. Might be her last time playing Tennessee. You never really know. Looking to see how she bounces back here in this game.
Coming in with an extra set of motivation is Jenna Stady, as this group for Georgia, this program, looking to complete a season sweep of Tennessee for the first time in 36 years. So this is a huge game, as there's a little bit stoppage in play. Not exactly sure what, but the officials seem to have it all together. So Stady misses both free throws, but the putback by Caldwell won't go down as well. Tennessee getting out and running. Jordan Houston, sophomore, the ball handler. Nice pass inside to Davis. Davis can't get it. Connolly, pump fake, tried to draw the contact. Stady. And look, there are a lot of shots going up, neither just falling for either team, but they're getting the position deep inside. They're able to drive to the basket, and right now just a little lid on it.
Check this play by Q Morrison. This is why she's one of the best defenders in the country. Renaya Davis tries to go backdoor, but the quick anticipation to get back, recover, and force that turnover and get an opportunity for her team to get up the floor. Q Morrison, she's just special defensively. She does not take plays off.
Nice inbound pass from Morrison to Stady, senior to senior, and it's 4-2 Georgia with just over 5 minutes to go in the opening period. Hitting it right over into the hands of the Georgia Bulldogs. Caldwell putting it on the deck, goes up. And neither team shooting the ball particularly well right now, as Burrell sees it pop in and out. Well, Q Morrison fouled on the way up. She'll have a couple of shots. We'll step aside very quickly. 4:32 remaining. It's Georgia with the quick lead. Well, we told you that these two teams met back on January 14th, and it was Georgia who picked up a big win on the road in Knoxville to take down the Lady Vols 67-66.
Tennessee started off so hot in this game, and Jordan Horston, she performed well. It was a well-played game, and Michaela Coombs, such a spark off the bench. Great in transition. Tennessee struggled to defend Georgia in transition. Gabby Connolly knocking down the three. This thing came down to the wire, but ultimately just turnovers. Q Morrison again with a defensive steal. Georgia overcame that 17-point deficit with a 19-2 run in that third quarter. And Joni Taylor learned her team had some fight.
Look at that third quarter. You just circled it right there. 29-9 outscoring the Lady Vols. And it was Georgia's first win in Knoxville since 1996. So one of those wins that you hang your hat on and say, okay, let's build from this, ladies. And they've been able to do so this year. They've also knocked off Arkansas in the process. So this is another big opportunity for the Bulldogs.
Well, we talked about Kelly Harper challenging her team at the half against South Carolina, challenging, saying, hey, you guys are soft. You're playing soft. Well, Joni Taylor challenged her ball club when they were playing Tennessee and said, we don't have any fight. And they proved that to Joni after coming back and beating Tennessee on the road. But a slow start for both teams. Sometimes with these noon games, Tiffany, you know, we had a couple cups of coffee to get ourselves going, wake up, but struggling from the floor.
Well, this is a game that I think everyone was excited to see, excited to, you know, have happen, 21 versus 22. And just the way that Georgia has played this season, you talked about a little bit earlier, kind of defying those odds or expectations. Picked 9th in the preseason poll coming into this season, sitting at number 4 in the SEC standings, right behind Tennessee, who's at number 3. Georgia's looking to just continue to improve their standing, especially for the NCAA tournament. Tennessee is a solid 3 seed right now as well. Gabby Connolly, one of the best three-point shooters on the team, the best three-point shooter and one of the best in the conference. And here's Q Morrison trying to go to work, launches it from 3. The Lady Vols have been held scoreless in more than 5 minutes in this ball game. On the court for them, Jordan Horston, Renaya Davis, Tamari Key, Jordan Walker, and Ray Burrell. Inside, they find Davis. Stady got a hand on it, but a foul on that whistle.
Q Morrison has a tall task in defending Renaya Davis, who's played so well the last few games, especially against South Carolina. And she's 6'2", Q Morrison 5'7", so there's a height advantage for Renaya Davis. So you've seen her go backdoor, try to get around the rim, knowing that she does have some height against her defender. Something to watch for, Tiffany, is Ray Burrell has only had 2 single-digit scoring games. One of those was against Georgia, and that's because of the way that they defend. They really, you know, each and every possession just make it a dogfight. Every cut is met with a check. You know, within the half court, they want to make it so hard to run your offensive sets. And right now they're doing that against Tennessee. They're turning it over, and that's a problem because Joni Taylor, you look at some of the losses for Georgia, they just had too many turnovers. So just 4 right now in the first quarter, but shooting themselves in the foot, leaving some points on the board.
Yeah, that was one of the areas that, you know, she kind of highlighted to us through the conversation is, look, we've got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. And what she liked about last Sunday's win over Missouri was the fact that they committed a season-low 10 turnovers. Walker off the mark. Back the other way. I'm not even sure how that went in, but Q Morrison flips it in. That's just the type of season it's been for Q Morrison, and well-deserved as she picks up the steal the other way. The leader in steals in the SEC. She's pushing the tempo. This is where Georgia can be really good.
But you can see right now, Georgia dictating the tempo. They're slowing Tennessee down in the half court, making them earn each and every point, and they're pushing offensively and trying to get out in transition.
Another body, Connolly able to push it forward, gets across half court. That's Mallory Bates, number 22, just checked in recently, along with Javin Nicholson, number 35 in white. And there's Connolly, the elbow jumper, and Gabby Connolly knocking it down, averaging 12 points. Remember, she had 17 in that win over Tennessee.
Well, she's feeling good. I mean, she had 29 points in her last game. Her confidence is sky high right now. Talked a lot about Q Morrison today and her defensive force to be reckoned with, but how about the offense? She's healthy, going against Tamari Key. Jordan Horston goes right at them. No fear in her eyes.
And thus far, you know, one of the things that Tennessee poses for each opponent is just the length that they bring to the floor. And going in is Sarah Ashley Barker, and it was quickly swatted away. And that's the length we're talking about for Tennessee, just so long all across the court.
Yeah, Tennessee, top 5 in height. Average player is 6'1", so they certainly have a height advantage against most teams. What surprised me so far in this game is Tennessee did such a good job containing South Carolina's transition offense. They haven't today. Georgia has snuck up on them. They're on that possession, and they're pushing in transition. Tennessee's slow to match up.
90 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 11-4 advantage for Georgia. And Tennessee has gone scoreless nearly 8 minutes in this opening period until right now. There's Rennia Davis, and just every time they need a bucket or just kind of get them out of a lull, it's Rennia Davis who's usually able to help them out.
What Kelly Harper really liked about Rennia Davis in that second half is she asserted herself offensively. I think she took the message at halftime personal, and she just went off, and clearly, you know, trying to get off to a better start here in this game. Check out the numbers.
Well, 5 games with 20-plus points, and of course 24 all in that second half against South Carolina. And then you think about, she had another really good game against Texas A&M as well. 25. So Rennia Davis, they were so happy to just even have her back in the lineup. So you go through this, you know, COVID protocol, you have a stoppage in play, then Davis missing because of medical reasons that game against Kentucky in which the ball's lost. But since she's been back in, pick right up where she left off.
Directed towards the Lady Bulldogs, number 22, Mallory Bates. That's her first, Georgia's fourth. Salary to the line of the Volunteers. Shooting 2.
Well, just a reminder, here's our Thursday women's doubleheader. Ryan Howard and the Kentucky Wildcats taking on these Georgia Bulldogs, 7 Eastern. Then Chelsea Dungy and the 18th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks are in Auburn to take on the Tigers. Both games right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Well, Kentucky is in action right after this one. A big game, and we'll see how South Carolina is able to bounce back after Thursday.
Again, Joni Taylor showcasing that depth. Just one starter on the floor to close out this first quarter.
It's a luxury when you can call upon so many different players with the shot clock winding down. Q Morrison is the one to take the shot off the mark. Rennia Davis, she's pushing it all the way, going right at it, high off glass, and she'll shoot two.
Rennia Davis, 6'2", reminder, just the length, athleticism, and speed on full display, getting herself to the free throw line. Didn't miss a free throw against South Carolina. Playing some of her best basketball. I think she plays her best against the best.
Well, Morrison will go to the bench with 2 fouls, and she'll sit out the rest of that first quarter. But to your point of Davis, you know, she's improved her play during the SEC competition and increasing her scoring, yes, but Kelly Harper says she's a player who can just literally do anything on the court.
And watches a ton of film, wants to get better. That's why she's going to make a terrific pro.
Final seconds of the opening frame, and the runner there from Barker. And that puts Georgia up 14-10 to close out the first quarter.
Sarah Ashley Barker coming off the bench. They call her SA, looking pretty with this finish.
The latest from Charlie Cream's bracketology. You look at how the SEC stacks up in terms of seeds. Georgia and Tennessee both at a projected 3 seed at this point, and the SEC is continuing to look strong. And I'll tell you, this Georgia group, when you look at their resume and what Joni Taylor's squad has been able to put together, I mean, well-deserved, because they've gone out and played some really tough competition, but also gotten some important wins.
Yeah, I mean, she should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year. What she's gotten out of her team, and I think something we've got to mention is the 4 seniors who graduated and could have left. Most people probably would have. It's your free pass now. You graduate, you can go and play right away. But Gabby Connolly, Maya Caldwell, Jenna Stady, Q Morrison, they all stayed. And I think that really paved the way for the senior, the leadership that they have in the season that they're having, because in this year there's so much uncertainty, and it's almost like whoever has the best leadership, the most experience in this COVID season really can benefit, because you're going to draw from that experience in leadership in times of uncertainty, and Georgia has that to fall back on, and Joni Taylor has said it's been a big difference.
And also making a difference, just generally speaking, on defense. One of the top defenses in the conference. They held Tennessee to their 2nd lowest point total in the first quarter this season, just 10. And Rennia Davis had 8 of those 10 points. Hustling forward, turnover. Ray Burrell comes up with it. Walker walks it back up.
You know, slowing down one of the R's for Tennessee, Ray or Rennia, is really key, because when they both go off, obviously that hurts. You saw that against South Carolina. And so Georgia had success the last time they played in containing Ray Burrell, who's had a fantastic season. I mean, she has really carried the team all season long. Rennia Davis has come along in conference play, but Ray has really been terrific, especially against ranked teams, averaging 19. And a well-kept secret. Kelly Harper said we knew that she was going to have this kind of year. I think a lot of us who cover it are like, wow, Ray's really playing well.
And Barker puts it up. She's fouled, so she'll shoot a couple. But what I like about we're kind of surprised by what Ray Burrell is doing.
Yeah.
Kelly Harper is like, okay, yeah, we knew this coming into the season. I think of Ray Burrell as kind of like the quiet storm, right? Just kind of somebody who goes in, days out, that model of consistency, and then boom, she can hit you.
She is a two-way player, a good defender. You know, plays so hard, competes, practices hard. That's a big deal. But yeah, talking to Kelly Harper, she said we saw it in practice in the summer and then coming up into non-conference. So they were not surprised by her numbers.
Blocked by Jenna Stady, and Stady, she's the best to do it in the league along with Leah Boston, and there swats it away.
Terrific help side by Jenna Stady, and you see how Georgia just clogging the paint. But Rennia Davis, look, they're going right at Georgia's defenders in the front court.
Gabby Connolly looks to be a little bit shaken up, not exactly sure. She may have taken a little contact, just needs an extra second or two.
And Davis here with 10 points.
It looked like she got hit there when Davis was putting up the shot. She's all good. Inside, and again,
Hustle play.
we've seen the good hustle all over the court from Georgia. They're working with 13 on the shot clock, letting it fly as Connolly. Neither team has knocked down a three yet.
Let's keep in mind that Q Morrison, who's Georgia's best defender, has 2 fouls on the bench. Second quarter now, Michaela Coombs comes off the bench to defend Rennia Davis. Again, the height advantage. She's going to try and post.
Coming in, cleaning up is Kushkitawa. Senior out of Atlanta, Georgia. Just does a great job rebounding, defending well. Just stepped up in a major way for the Lady Vols this season. Ray Burrell left wide open, awesome look, couldn't get it to fall. Coombs back the other way, doesn't have numbers, still taking it in. And so if you're Tennessee and you know that Q Morrison is on the bench, is there any particular area where you're trying to attack a little bit more, given the fact that she's done an amazing job all season long taking out some of the best players on each team?
Well, I think they've done a really nice job of getting Rennia Davis on the move and posting up the guard. Now Sarah Ashley Barker is going to try and contain her.
First look at Destiny Salary, ball in her hand. Tries to give it over to Davis. Instead, Lady Vols turn it over. You see Rennia Davis carrying the team so far, 10 points. The rest of the group just 4, and that's seemingly a carryover from Thursday's game. And right now, Steffi, when you're watching both of these teams, it's 15-14.
Yeah.
Is this what you expected to see so far?
I thought there'd be, both teams would be a little bit more sharp, and turnovers, 17 combined here in this first half. Both coaches have been implementing, hey, in practice, let's stop turning the ball over, stop turning the ball over, and neither team really scoring off of these turnovers, but you just can't give the ball away possession after possession.
Whistle on the floor, and it goes against the Bulldogs. Davis trying to work on Barker. She gets called for the blocking foul. And remember too, Steffi, you know, Georgia hasn't played in a week, so this is their first game since Valentine's Day. For Tennessee, the question mark was how would they come into today's game off of the high from Thursday.
Yeah, it was such an interesting matchup because Tennessee had a nightmare of traveling, trying to get back from Texas A&M. We were supposed to call their game at Mississippi State. They got stuck in the ice storm in Texas. Coming into South Carolina, had one day of real preparation, while Georgia had that Thursday off. I just think it's so hard to guess this year is, how a team is going to perform. You could say, hey, Georgia, well, are they going to be fresh? Are they going to be lackadaisical because they didn't play Thursday? And obviously for Tennessee, Kelly Harper was like, I don't know what to expect from my ball club with one day of preparation against one of the best teams in the country. And obviously they pulled off the win.
You saw Joni Taylor saying, wait a minute, I thought that was us. I thought that was our ball. Well, they get it back right here. But yeah, that's just kind of the unpredictability of what 2021 has just offered all of us. And just this time in the pandemic, there is no certainty. But what's certain is that is the first three to fall for either team. Gabby Connolly is able to get it to drop. She's got 5 quick points. Georgia gets the ball off the jump ball, but let's go back to that Connolly 3.
Gabby Connolly, hey, you go under the screen, you shoot the 3 all day, especially when you're coming off a game where you drop 29 points. You give what the defense takes, or you take what the defense gives you. Need another cup of coffee, maybe.
It's all good. I mean, we're all just powering through right now. This is 21 versus 22. Georgia's led the entire way. Steffi Sorensen, Tiffany Green, we're delighted to be here with you. Tamari Key going up. She's fouled by Jenna Stady, and they want to try to get Key going.
Such a big target, too. Looked like all ball by Jenna Stady, but Tamari Key, Kelly Harper, been really pleased too.
Well, tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, we'll have a 2-hour recap of this year's women's swimming and diving championships. Tennessee coming in as the defending champions, so Stady will take a seat. She's got 2 personal fouls.
And see, this is when Joni Taylor can go to her bench, and especially with her post players.
Talk about that depth in the front court for the Bulldogs. Connolly slow to get up. We'll step aside. 4:45 remaining in the first half. We'll be right back.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes on the SEC.
After being upset by Ole Miss, and Kyra Elzy saying earlier this week that we are a different team than when we last saw South Carolina. That one's coming your way, 3 Eastern on ESPN. What's intriguing for that one?
Well, I think that, I mean, I'm interested to see how South Carolina bounces back. I know that Dawn Staley was really frustrated the way that they closed out the game against Tennessee. And, Dawn Staley is so good at getting her team to play with that edge, that makes them different, a little chippy. So how will they come out and perform against Kentucky?
Well, before the break, we saw Gabby Connolly go to the floor and was slow to get up. Not exactly sure, but she's been slow. This is the second time where it feels like she's just taking a little extra time to get up. She's on the floor. She's a gamer, so good enough to play, but something we'll keep an eye on. Yep.
Yeah. We're so in sync, Tiff. We're so in sync.
I thought you were going to hit me with a bye-bye sign. No. Okay.
I'm sitting on that.
Right now, Tennessee has just been flat offensively. They've not shot the ball well outside of Renia Davis. Not much going on the way of the Tennessee Lady Vols offense. And another example right there, traveling violation called against Ray
Well,
Burrell.
the 11 turnovers certainly don't help Tennessee, shooting 17% from the floor, and I think noticeably absent is Ray Burrell with 0 points. And as we talked about against ranked teams, she scores 19, almost 19, 20 points a game. And you have to credit the half-court defense of Georgia, one of the best in the SEC, just locking everybody up.
Stady is able to knock down the free throw line jumper. Jenna Stady, 4 points to go along with her 7 rebounds. Davis has 10 on the game. 10 points, that is. We'll see who else gets involved. Ray Burrell looking for her first 2, blocked by Stady.
You know what Georgia's doing a really good job with? One is their balance offensively. Jenna Stady getting on the board, but they stand tall. Watch Stady, she's able to block the shot obviously because she has the height, but everybody around nobody's reaching in or slapping at the ball. You know, everybody's playing really disciplined defense, a hallmark for Georgia.
Standing straight up, and Jenna Stady averages 3 blocks a game to go along with her team leading average of 14 points per game. Gabby Connolly letting it fly again, rattles it home. She looks pretty good on that shot.
Threes help with the pain, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Threes do.
Georgia has their largest lead of the game thus far. Rennia Davis trying to answer. Burrell able to collect the offensive rebound, and again trying to go inside. Just nothing falling right now for Tennessee. Caldwell slows it up. And Jordan Isaacs whistled for the foul.
Jenna Stady just so active today, playing smart, playing disciplined. She wants to be out there on the floor, really making her presence felt. Remember, we kind of keeping our eye on Jenna Stady not having a good game against Tennessee last time out.
Again, deflected by the Bulldogs coming out. They like to get out and run, but that one was poked away by Salary. And again, you think about this Georgia team continuing to maintain this lead, even getting out to their largest lead of the game without Q Morrison on the court. Remember, she had those 2 fouls in the first quarter, kind of set her down early.
Yeah, and without your best defender, Tennessee still missed 11 straight shots, and another good look for Georgia. Yeah, some clapping from Stady.
Yeah.
See if Tennessee can play a little inside out, get Ray Burrell going, or get Key in a post-entry pass.
It's the beauty of a player like Davis. You can kind of play her at the 3 and 4. She's just one of those versatile Lady Vols.
Just pretty basketball. Jenna Stady gets behind Ray Burrell. Good length, good pass. But again, I was kind of talking about trying to get Tamari Key a post-entry pass. Well, you draw a foul against Stady, which I believe is her second, so she'll have to take a seat. So a good way to not have to play against Stady is get her in foul trouble.
Well, this is a way that Tennessee can pick up points given the fact that they have not shot well from the field thus far.
Well, one thing we've learned, Tiffany, with both of these teams is no lead is safe. No lead is safe.
Correct.
So Tennessee not down by that much. They're not shooting the ball well. They're not playing very well. But no reason to hang your heads. You just got to regroup, try to finish out this last 90 seconds. Some stops and scores.
Parker sees it pop in and out from long range. Davis inside to Key, and Key can't put it down. Nicholson showing moves, the and one! The sophomore out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, going to work.
Patient, footwork, perfect. Nicholson just goes to work, understands Destiny Salary, a guard. Unable to defend her. This one, talking about the post depth. I mean, that's a luxury for Joni Taylor, that she can go pretty much 10 deep.
Meanwhile, the Bulldogs have not shot the ball well from the free throw line. An opportunity to get a second chance look here. That one's poked out under a minute to go in this first half. 10 points separate these two teams. Number 22, Georgia, winners of 3 straight. Salary leaves it short. Caldwell with the foul after giving it back to Davis.
It's like hot potato with both teams right now, Tiff. You know?
And we've talked about already just what the halftime speech was like against South Carolina. I'm curious how Renia Davis and company may receive the halftime speech from Kellie Harper going into the locker room. Obviously looking to put up a couple more points before the end of the half, but if you're assessing both sides, you know, Georgia has been able to keep Tennessee at bay. Those shots have not been falling as well.
Yeah, the shots aren't falling, and Kellie Harper coming into this game after a big win against South Carolina, she knew her squad would be motivated and hungry, but it's about execution. Being hungry and motivated is just not enough. So it's about really shaping up and getting back to your game plan in the second half.
Connolly taking her time, about 6 seconds between shot clock and game clock, and Tamari Key was able to disrupt that one on the drive from Jordan Isaacs.
Talked a lot about Jenna Stady, but Tamari Key, another terrific shot blocker, 6'5", terrific long wingspan.
So 6 seconds to go in the half. Walker pushing it up, lets it go, and no good. Well, Tennessee sluggish from the field, shooting just 13%. Kellie Harper will try to motivate her team at halftime. Meanwhile, Georgia with a 27-19 advantage, trying to win 4 straight. We'll send it to the studio. What's up, Alyssa Lang? Came from Davis. Meanwhile, we mentioned the balance of Georgia. You know, Q Morrison was on the bench for a good bit of that first half with foul trouble, along with Jenna Stady, but still 5+ points from 4 different players. So we'll see what's to come in the second half. And if you've watched Georgia throughout this season, you know that they love the third quarter. They tend to bring some of their best ball coming out of the locker room at halftime. Ray Burrell quickly gets on the board, so just shrugging off those first half shooting woes.
Well, message sent is Ray Burrell, we need you, and we need your scoring production. She does so much for the team. She's carried them throughout this season. Good sign for Burrell to get on the board.
Connolly answering right back the other way. Gabby Connolly now with 10 points to pace the way for the Bulldogs. We talk about statistically third quarter best for Georgia, but remember Tennessee used that huge third quarter against South Carolina to pick up that big win. And Coach Kittewa getting in on the action. So now you're starting to see things fall in favor of the Lady Vols. Caldwell answering back the other way. So this is going to be fun. So whatever they did do in the first half, they're like, that's okay, because we were just saving it for the drama of the second half.
I mean, let's be honest, that wasn't a very pretty half for both teams shooting the basketball. And so first 2 possessions for Tennessee, you got Cassie Cush-Kittewa, who scores, now Rennia Davis, Ray Burrell, other people getting involved, 3 for 3. Good start for Tennessee.
And probably, Steffi, a little bit more of what we expected to see to start this game. 21 versus 22, both teams projected 3 seed in the latest bracketology by Charlie Cream, and Q Morrison on cue from 3. Oh, that's Gabby Connolly. My bad, girl. Oh, it was Morrison. Okay, all right.
You were right. You were right.
I was right.
I want to know what was in the water at the half. What was superpower elixir did somebody put together? Both teams had it, because both teams feeling it now to start the third quarter. How about that shot for Ray Burrell? Has there been a miss yet? What a tale of 2 halves.
And pops in and out, but now both of these teams just, I don't know, it just took, you know, a little bit longer, 20 minutes to kind of feel each other out and get into the flow. You mentioned, Steffi, just the noon game feel.
Just shot out by Ray Burrell. I mean, she has been aggressive, and I have a feeling she was challenged at the half to be more aggressive, look for her shot. And we haven't talked about Maya Caldwell, but she's one of the seniors that stayed and has been a big part of this season, and she's done a great job defending Ray Burrell.
Inside, Tamari Key, the mismatch there, and that was an easy bucket. Tennessee coming up with it. Cush-Kittewa wrestling for the rebound. But then a turnover in transition, getting out. Caldwell, one of those seniors, and she's fouled.
Maya Caldwell, an athletic playmaker for Georgia. Averaging around 6.5 in SEC play, but she's just steady. She doesn't make mistakes. She defends, she rebounds. You know, running hard in transition, those things important.
That last play is under review, but I think when you're talking about Caldwell and that senior group to kind of hammer home that point of getting the degrees, all 4 of them now working, you know, on their masters, that leadership element was important. And they stayed in a program. So take another look at the replay right here. But they stay in a program, Steffi, where their freshman year, they were hosting the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament. And so they have created that expectation. Joni Taylor has cultivated that expectation, and that's where they're working toward getting back to a position like that again this year, and they find themselves in a good place right now. Well, our SEC storied film is titled Once Upon a Comeback. Tomorrow at 9 Eastern features the Florida swimming star and U.S. legend Dara Torres and how she overcame personal issues and became the oldest swimmer to win an Olympic gold medal. Of course, Tennessee's women's swimming and diving won the national championship. or won the championship record.
Gabby Connolly does a great job of splitting the defense. Boom, there, sets up the opportunity for Jordan Isaacs to get to the free throw line. Drawing the foul against Tamari Key. Been really impressed with the senior Gabby Connolly, even with kind of rolling her ankle a little bit there in that first half. So tough.
Tennessee sitting at third in the SEC standings. Georgia coming in at fourth. Trish Kittewa on the wing. Ray Burrell puts it on the floor. It's going right to the hoop, kisses it high off the glass. We asked the question, where was Ray Burrell in that first half? She says, I was just, again, saving my effort and energy for this second half push.
Better late than never. And she has been so consistent for Tennessee all season long. That's why I was so surprised for her to be held scoreless, and you do have to credit Georgia and their ability to defend her. And one thing to note about Ray Burrell is, you know, her last 6 years of playing, she had 6 different coaches. So she finally had a season where she had 2, or the same coach, and Kelly Harper, and there was some consistency there. I mean, you have to think about having that many different coaches, you know, and each coach has a different angle that they're going to bring towards you or say something to you, so some consistency goes a long way.
Burrell is in a really good situation now because it's allowed her to, the system has kind of allowed her to highlight many of her strengths. The lead just 5 for Georgia. Connolly. Jordan Horston. Count it.
Jordan Horston has been rock solid for Tennessee, especially the last 4 games, hitting some clutch baskets against South Carolina. This one, she's just so athletic. You know, her ability to score with defenders hanging on her. In her first 14 games for Tennessee, she was averaging 3 turnovers. Her last 4 games, she's only had 3 turnovers. You know, that's something she had struggled with in her freshman year. She's gotten much better.
And
hello, Gabby Connolly.
Yeah, she's getting better and better from the 3-point line, 3 of 7. Remember, she had a career best 6 triples in her last game. Trish Kittewa to Key, and Key grabs it over the much smaller Connolly, an easy bucket there. So Tennessee within 4.
Much better shooting, obviously, from Tennessee, but more balance. Being tough to guard.
Morrison, you better believe it. And you like the emotion afterward, but she's feeling good as she was able to knock down the shot.
Q Morrison, she may be one of the best defenders in the SEC, but check out the mid-range emotion in Athens.
We're closing in on the SEC tournament, and if the season ended today, if we came into these slate of games, here is how each of these teams would be seeded. We mentioned already top 4 in the standings would get a bye, so Georgia and Tennessee wouldn't have to play till the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that first round bye is big for those top 4 teams. Look at some interesting matchups. You know, Alabama and Missouri, that would be really fun. Missouri hangs with everybody, you know, and LSU, Ole Miss previously, you know, their game had gone into overtime, and Arkansas is kind of the dark horse team, right? An 8 seed, but has 2 wins over top 5 teams in Baylor and UConn. One of the best players in the country, and Chelsea Dungy. Still eager to see Mississippi State. I know we wanted to call Tennessee Mississippi State. The game did not get to be played.
Yeah.
But Nikki McRae-Pinson in her first season with the Bulldogs. It's going to be a fun tournament for sure.
Oh yeah, loving it, no doubt. And here's what it looks like if you extend to the postseason. The resume that Georgia's been able to put together, 7-3 in the last 10 games. In fact, they've won 3 straight. And that net 16, that's quite impressive, as both of these teams were in the NCAA's first reveal.
I got to take another look at this. The first block obviously is clean. Did she lean in a little bit with the body? Yeah, I get it, but I don't like it.
It's definitive there because, you know, you talked about just the discipline that you've seen on defense from Georgia, especially in the post. And Jenna Stady, one of the best shot blockers in the country, and that's something that Joni Taylor is quite proud of. Just overall, this is a team that you just do not want to contend with, especially when it comes to blocks. 2nd best in the SEC, 5th nationally.
Well, the way that they defend, Tiffany, is why they're always in games. They make you beat them. You know, they don't beat themselves. And they're just so gritty and tough. And
so tough. I mean, look right there, Steffi.
Yeah.
I mean, top 5 and like everything. Third, first, third. And right now in 3-point field goal percentage, they have more than done their job, as Tennessee has yet to hit a triple. Morrison behind the back, lets it go before the shot clock winds down. Can't get it. They pass up ahead and deflected there by Jordan Isaacs. Great hands there, getting out, running. Here's Gabby Connolly, who completes it. Pow, pow, pow!
Tiff, that's hard to follow up on. But Gabby Connolly, catch and fire. Just the hustle play by Jordan Isaacs, which leads to this transition opportunity. Q Morrison, underrated passer, eyes up, finds her fellow senior for the 3. Connolly feeling it right now, 4 of 8 from the 3-point line.
And you've had an opportunity to, you know, watch this Georgia program over the years. From last year to this year, you see the continuation of improvement. Most SEC wins. From last year to this year, they've got 8 right now. But what's kind of stood out in your mind? Because, you know, this is a team that you felt at the beginning of the year was going to do something special or had the potential to. Why did you feel that?
I think that I saw something in Georgia. One is their defense. It always keeps you in games. So they have that. And I think that there's a certain culture that Georgia has. You know, obviously it was built by Andy Landers, but the baton was passed over to Joni Taylor. And the 4 players, the 4 seniors staying, and obviously some of the newcomers, and we've seen Sarah Ashley Barker and how she's had a impact on the game, even Michaela Coombs, a UConn transfer. But those 4 seniors I felt like could just be so steady for them in a year of uncertainty. And they were ready. They wanted to do something special their senior year. And Gabby Connolly, a big part of that.
Connolly with a game-high 18 points. You see Going after those hustle plays, getting on the floor is Javin Nicholson. But it's infectious because it spreads down all the way. You know, it starts with your head coach. Your seniors are strong, and then it spreads throughout the team. Biggest lead of the ball game as it ties it right back to that 10 spread, 47-37 in favor of Georgia. Well, big ups to Gabby Connolly for the way she's played today, Stephanie.
Gabby Connolly, the senior, has really stepped up. When buckets were hard to find, Gabby Connolly steadied this ship for Georgia. 4 of 8 from the three-point line, and just clutch shots. I mean, when they needed a bucket, she delivered. There on the pass from Q Morrison, she can also create her shot. So good at getting to the rim and finishing, and had a little banged up ankle to start this game. Clearly, Tiffany has not affected her game. If anything, it's elevated it.
Not at all.
I still think she's building off of that Missouri game, having 29 points, hitting 6 threes.
Indeed, and 10 of her 18 points have come in this quarter alone. We saw Tennessee come out of the locker room shooting much better than they did in that first half. Shots were falling for all. Ray Burrell got on the board. She's got 4 to go on the shot clock, spins around. Can't hit, but Horson is there with the offensive rebound, puts it back in. And that's another thing when you're talking about how these two teams match up. Joni Taylor said, we have to make sure that we kind of hang in there with Tennessee when it comes to rebounding. Always a very good rebounding team, just historically without their program. In the rebounding battle, Georgia just one shy of 36 rebounds along with Tennessee.
Tennessee lucky there that they get another opportunity. You got a 3-on-1 situation. Instead of a mid-range jumper from Burrell, you can just drop it off to Renaya Davis, who's just had 2 points in this second half. Remember, she had such a great first half, but Q Morrison back in the game. Gabby Connolly's guarded her a little bit.
Traveling violation, you know, that's interesting. You mentioned that, like who's guarding Ray Burrell, and you know, Q Morrison typically has the toughest assignment on the floor because she is Georgia's best defender and one of the best in the league. And when we were having a conversation, you know, with Joni Taylor, we talked about she usually clamps down and makes it so difficult for any guard on any team.
Yeah, I went back and looked
points
at against SEC opponents, their top guards. Nobody scored above their season average if Q Morrison was guarding them, which is incredibly impressive.
That one deflected by Connolly. She's able to keep it alive, throws it up ahead to going for it, and who last touched it? Both Burrell and Coombs were going for it, and it looks like it's Georgia basketball. So those are the types of hustle plays that you rewind back and you say, these are difference makers for us this season. This is what's going to help us in the postseason.
Connolly is able to save this. Somehow she's falling out of bounds and just throws it up, hoping that somebody runs down the court. And check out that burst of speed from Michaela Coombs. She comes off the bench for Georgia and always makes an impact, whether it's defensively, she gives them a spark offensively. But great hustle play by both Connolly and Michaela Coombs.
Well, they reversed the call there, so it was initially awarded to Georgia. Tennessee has the basketball. Coombs once more with active hands.
And this is what makes Georgia's defense so good, is it's just being there right on the catch, playing the passing lane, getting down in the stance.
Isaacs was held up on the way to get that rebound. Kushkitawa whistled for the personal. So third.
to the line for the Lady Dogs. Shooting 2.
Well, tomorrow we'll have our final True South episode of the season, and the trek takes you to Bowman, South Carolina, the birth and burial place of Mary Beverly Evans Edge, your host John T. Edge's mom. So you can catch it 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Davis working with time winding down. Won't fall. Well, Tennessee came out of the locker room shooting the ball better, but Georgia is the one who saw a big push from their senior, Gabby Connolly, scoring 16 of Georgia's 20 points in that frame. Our next SEC storied film is, excuse me, how about this? We're talking about Beyond the Whiteboard SEC Coaches Conversation. It will air tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network. Maria Taylor sits down with 6 of the 7 SEC women's basketball coaches, including Georgia's Joni Taylor. They talk about racial injustice, black women in leadership. Great conversation, really worth a watch and listen. And of course, this is Black History Month, so there are so many prominent and pioneering women across the country and throughout the SEC. When you think about Patricia Roberts, Trish Roberts was a part of Pat Summitt's first basketball team. She's a record holder. Her name goes down in history in the annals of Lady Vols basketball. And then you move over to Cynthia Collins and Bernadette Maddox, Locke now. You know, these are 2 players who really made a difference at the University of Georgia, given the fact that, you know, they were the first 2 African Americans recruited to enroll at UGA and play for the Lady Bulldogs on scholarship.
Yeah, I was talking to Andy Landers about that, and he said, I don't think any of the 3 of us were aware of any history being made. I was in my first year just trying to build a program and knew that I needed good people who were also good players. And Cynthia and Bernie were both, so it was a no-brainer. And Bernadette was an academic All-American later, Coach Landers' first academic counselor. So paving the way. I have to credit Carolyn Peck, who brought the historical figures to everybody's forefront. And, you know, she was actually Pat Summitt's first African-American that she hired, Pat Summitt. And she's been a trailblazer herself. And so I'm honored to talk about, you know, other women that have really paved the way to where we are now.
Of course, when you think about, you know, what Carolyn Peck did and winning that national championship, the first black woman to do so, and then you talk to these coaches and you kind of get a sense of, you know, what this means to them, especially for, you know, 7 coaches in the SEC to have African American women as the lead of these programs. And Joni Taylor talked about, you know, Bernadette Locke Maddox being the ultimate pioneer and trailblazer. And of course, Taylor played at the University of Alabama, and she got a chance to, you know, see Maddox coaching on the other sideline, and just gave her chills even just talking about it, thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Because they helped to pave the way for what we're seeing today. And that's an impressive list of women.
Special
black
bond
women leading the way. Yep.
Yeah, sisterhood within this SEC, and the conference has done a tremendous job of just actually putting their money where their mouth is and hiring black women who deserve to be head coaches.
And it's something that's just not lost on any of us. And even when you talk to some of the players, you know, their reasons for staying in a program or for transferring to a program, it's because they want to be led by someone who looks like them.
Yeah. Got a shout out to Joni Taylor for always rocking the killer outfits. I'm just saying. It's been athleisure this year, but
Athleisure.
it has been for most coaches. But she'll still rock the pumps. Got to give her credit.
You know, I was wondering when we were going to get into that conversation, given the fact that you know, today she's not showing off the arms. You know, she's being a little bit more modest because she's got guns. But the fits are fly, always and forever. A little back and forth there, finished off by Jordan Walker for Tennessee.
And Tennessee going on a nice little run here themselves. Just a 4-point game. Sticking with that man-to-man defense.
Morrison, a little hesitation, going right at Key. Key's like, not a good decision.
Well, it's good team defense from Tennessee. Ray Burrell kind of leads her to the rim, knowing that Tamari Key welcoming the ball and great timing. Little attitude after. I always love that. Terrific passion.
Terrific passion. I like how you coined the terrific passion, because sometimes it can be seen as something different. And these women are just incredibly competitive. Love the way they get after it. Check this out, a 9-0 run going back to that third quarter for Tennessee, and Tennessee's like, wait.
She's got to calm Q Morrison down.
Yeah, Q Morrison is beside herself right now. We'll step aside quickly and take a look at that again when we come back. Tennessee cut the lead to 1, but the officials are reviewing after that Rennia Davis three-pointer to bring them close. See a little taunting and extracurricular after that shot.
Well, it's getting heated in Athens. Getting real close to Q Morrison. Had some words. Q kind of took the bait there. I think that's why Joni Taylor called the timeout. Settle down, her senior. A little friendly banter, right, Tiff? Just a little.
Oh yeah. Well, the game's been shipped. It's a rivalry game. This game is important to both teams, whereas we talked about Tennessee coming off that big win for Georgia. They're just trying to make sure they complete this season sweep if they can help it and remain in the top 4 standings, improve their resume. Dee Cantner, Poulani Spurlock, and Brian Hall are officials for today. So they're bringing the coaches together in half court to explain. Dee Cantner's explaining it. So we're just trying to get clarity on who's going to be charged with what. An intentional foul, they're saying, is going to be called on Q Morrison, Rennia Davis. The taunting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely error on both players. Rennia Davis taunting Q Morrison, and then, keep in mind, she got in foul trouble in the first half. Both players need to keep their cool here as they're relied on heavily. And it's something that Kelly Harper talked about. What was the difference in South Carolina late in the game was her team's body language and huddles. Everyone was locked in. It wasn't superficial conversation. It was substantial and it was meaningful. And so when your team gets a little rowdy right now and chippy, something to keep an eye on as we move forward in this fourth quarter. who can remain composed and poised.
Well, Davis still on the floor after being called for taunting. Meanwhile, Q Morrison is on the bench. She's got 4 fouls now, so that's going to be crucial and critical down the stretch here for the Bulldogs. And this one just kind of eases its way into the bucket. Gabby Connolly has had herself a very good ball game here so far. Another 3 ball drops for the senior.
Yeah, she's shooting her best in SEC play from the three-point line.
Kush Kidawah took the ball to the floor, called for a traveling violation.
Connolly, big shot, ranks 4th in the SEC in 3 points. 3-pointers made this season. I have a feeling that number's going to go up.
Yeah, and remember she
a little bit.
6 last game, so she's added 5 here this afternoon. Barker misses. Isaacs gets the rebound. A restart here for Georgia. Connolly, Isaacs, Coombs, Barker, and Stady on the floor for Georgia. Got to get a shot up, not able to do so. Shot clock violation. And turnovers.
Mistake. Yeah, another turnover for Georgia. That's 16. Talked to Joni Taylor about some of their losses, poor field goal percentage, rebounds, turnovers. Just turnovers are what really cost us those games.
Ray Burrell, who's been relatively silent for most of this ball game, 8 points now on that take. Knocked away by Kush Kidawah. Burrell was a little out of control, goes to the floor hard, and grabbing that left leg, that lower left leg around the ankle area. She gets up and tries to run it off.
Burrell so good at getting to the rim, just runs right into Jordan Isaacs on that play. A little banged up. There's been bodies all over the floor today. It's been a really physical, tough game for both teams.
Connolly into Stady. Turns around. And just the presence of Kush Kidawah, sitting at 6'4", really altered that shot. .5:17 remaining in regulation in Athens. Off the screen, Jordan Isaacs, good look, open look, won't go. Tennessee with a chance to tie, and Barker is whistled for the foul.
Talk about Ray Burrell moving without the basketball and just being more aggressive this half. So good when she leaves her feet, and she had the state record in Nevada she was a high jumper in track. And one thing that you have to be good at if you're a high jumper it's called aerial awareness, which is understanding where your body is in relation to the ground, which is what makes her so good when she leaves her feet. She knows where she is. She's in control. That's why you rarely see her being out of control in the air. Credit to her athleticism.
Credit to you for the aerial awareness nugget right there, Stephen.
Just doing my homework.
The jumper falls for Georgia. That's Maya Caldwell's 5th point of the ball game. Davis answering back the other way. Well, this is one of those things where, Georgia's looking to get some separation. Georgia's looking to find ways to try to build a comfortable lead or a little lead here because Tennessee is always in striking distance once you have Burrell and Davis. But again, a balanced effort we're seeing from the Bulldogs this time, Michaela Coombs. Tennessee spins a timeout, and Steffi, the last tie of this ball game was back in like start of this ball game, okay? But with Tennessee, what's it gonna take for them to take the lead in this one?
I think one thing that's most important is valuing the basketball and taking care of the basketball, most importantly. Playing inside out, I mean, you obviously have playmakers and Renaya Davis and Ray Burrell who can attack the rim. I think good things happen when you get the ball in Tamari Key or Cassie Kushkitawa. So playing a little inside out, but being smart with the basketball. We've seen them throw the ball around most of this game, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So I think that Tennessee, they can just clean it up. They're right here. They're shooting the ball better. There's more balance. And, you know, Georgia just has to continue doing what they're doing. They can't let off the gas right now. But I will say that foul, that intentional foul that Q Morrison picked up was big because Renaya Davis knows that, you know, Q Morrison isn't in the game. So she's going to go right back into attack mode, knowing that might be a little bit easier for her without Q Morrison guarding her.
And with a 4-point lead here, just over 4 minutes to go, you know, when do you feel like it's going to be a good time for Joni Taylor to insert her back into the ballgame?
Well, you want to see you know, Renaya Davis gets another easy look there, an offensive rebound. Her bench has been productive today.
And Gabby Connolly has really been the one who's been pouring in the points. 23 now for the senior guard out of San Antonio. Burrell trips, a couple of bodies hit the floor. And I think as the bodies hit the floor, Tamari Key lost her shoe, just everything's going on.
Kind of what did you expect from a historic rivalry between these two teams? It means a lot to take down a Georgia, to take down a Tennessee, and look at on each possession, multiple players from both teams understanding the little things, that's the hustle plays that win you these close ball games, especially for Tennessee being on the road.
Georgia was able to notch a big win, first time in Knoxville since 1996 when they won that January 14th meeting. And Tennessee not able to get a shot off before the shot clock expires.
One thing that Joni Taylor wanted her team to do defensively against Tennessee is make every possession tough, drain them out, make it difficult. They're forcing a shot clock violation. Good defense.
Georgia with the ball, they've made 3 of their last shots. Gabby Connolly has done the heavy lifting on offense so far for the Bulldogs. Q Morrison checking back in. That's important to note that she has 4 personal fouls and she's coming in with just under 3 minutes to go. Her team holding tight to a lead.
She's also been helping out Gabby Connolly in the scoring department in double figures.
She's brought in 11. Here's Coombs, 3 to go on the shot clock, leaves it short. Davis with the rebound. Burrell pulls up, way off. Tennessee with multiple opportunities on the offensive end, unable to capitalize, and then a jump ball, and Georgia gets it back.
And Tennessee has 21 offensive rebounds so far. And granted, Georgia has 18, so both teams really attacking the glass.
Under 2 minutes to go. Again, Georgia with a big opportunity. Try to complete the season sweep of Tennessee. And when you're looking at body language down the stretch, Steffi, what are you looking for between these two teams? Because they seem to be in control, but what should we keep our eye on?
Well, just leadership. When there's a huddle, you know, who's talking, who's not talking, are shoulders slumped? Those are the things that I watch for, especially late down the stretch. Who commands that huddle? Who has the composure? That is usually who will win the game.
Davis able to rattle home a three. It's 56-53. Georgia, the 22nd ranked team in the country with the lead over the Lady Vols. We'll have to pick up a win on the road here at Stegeman Coliseum. And there, Q Morrison, you see just what she means to Georgia's defense, the heartbeat on that side of the floor.
Right there on the catch, you know, with Ray Burrell, just crowding, corralling. She's active with her hands. She doesn't play with her hands by her side. She moves so quick laterally. I think you're looking for Rennia Davis if you're Tennessee here. Yeah, Kelly Harper knew her team was in trouble with it, called the timeout.
While they take a timeout, we'll remind you that our Thursday women's basketball doubleheader is a top 22 matchup. Kentucky taking on Georgia Bulldogs. That's when they'll be back in action again. And then how about Chelsea Dungee and the Arkansas Razorbacks in Auburn? That's at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the SEC Network, also on your ESPN app. Well, right now, you talked about was the composure. Joni Taylor rather, is taking control of that huddle, just making sure her team doesn't flinch. They've got a group of seniors who are confident.
Yeah, I mean, their last time that they played, it looked just like this, and it was a matter of who took care of the basketball and executing, and there was a lack of execution on the last play from Tennessee, and not valuing the basketball. So I have a feeling this is going to come down to the last shot again.
It was a 67-66 decision back in Thompson Bowling Arena on January 14th, and there Ray Burrell draws contact. Gabby Connolly whistled for the foul.
It has been a tough day for Ray Burrell, and you have to credit the Georgia defense for just being physical with her and seeing how far she pushes her outside of the lane for her to take that attack, and the angle for trying to make something happen offensively. But Ray Burrell, she's played through it. You know, like I said, she's a tough kid.
So a 1-point game. Georgia with the basketball, trying to get it across half court. Bulldogs winners of 3 straight. Can they close out Tennessee? Good defense there. And the D. Cantner whistles Tamari Key for the foul.
Another one of those tough calls. Or Key, I thought, was pretty straight up, blocking the shot for Connolly.
Now, important to note, Steffi, that Georgia has not been good from the free throw line today. Just 6 of 16 prior to these shots taken by Gabby Connolly. Another miss there. This is where they've left some points on the floor.
What's so weird is coming into this game in SEC play, Georgia was second in free throw percentage. Saw some frustration from Connolly for missing that first free throw. See, that's what I'm talking about, just paying attention to body language and who's in control and her teammates picking her up there.
Well, Q Morrison has done her job. She's come up with 11 points, and again, real gritty on the defensive end.
Love this play here where she gets out in transition, drops the dime to Connolly. She's been everywhere, all over the floor, diving on the ground for loose balls, making hustle plays. How about a scoop shot for her, and then the mid-range. So much emotion. She's so tough. She's relentless. Bounced back after that little dispute with Renaya Davis. Got back in control.
Neither team has shot the ball well throughout this ball game, but certainly once the second half started, we saw a little bit more oomph, shots falling for both a little bit more favorably. But now when you look at Georgia has 3 timeouts remaining, Tennessee with none. When you look at the fouls, 3 for Tennessee, 4 for Georgia. So
yeah. Well, you know, Jenna Stady's been quiet again, just 6 points, and I think Georgia's at its best really when they play inside out. They love to high-low pass. That way it opens up the perimeter for players like Gabby Connolly and Q Morrison to make a play. But an important stop here. Don't want to foul on a 3-point shot either.
Davis with a clear pass to Key, rather pass to the basket. Tried to find Key, whip it around. Do you like that decision there, Steffi?
That's what I was talking about, is valuing the basketball. It hurt them the last time Tennessee played Georgia, was turnovers. That's their 20th. And when you leave your feet, especially as you're going out of bounds, if you're Renaya Davis, you got to look for your shot, not look to pass. Here comes Renaya Davis off the screens. I think there it's maybe there, but you're risking it. If you're Renaya Davis, take the shot.
So 12.1 seconds remaining. Georgia has the basketball, and Joni Taylor is saying what to her group?
Stay calm and, you know, trust yourselves. I think is the most important thing. Is she has said that the biggest difference in this group is we've been able to close out games. That's been our Achilles heel previously. So be confident, be smart, make good decisions.
And then on the other side, this is a Tennessee group who can come up with a stop. They need to come up with a stop. Kelly Harper's group has 12.1 seconds remaining in this one. And again, we know anything can happen. Still a lot of time, but no timeouts for the Lady Vols.
And they only have 3 fouls, so they're going to have to bust a couple fouls here. Don't want to take a lot of time off the clock. So really quick fouls. Try to go for a steal.
Michaela Coombs set to inbound it. They get it into Stady. They try to steal it away. Couple seconds. Oh,
it's Tennessee
jump ball instead. Okay, so great execution coming out of the timeout for Kelly Harper's group.
You wanted to go for a quick steal or try to tie it up. They throw it into Jenna Stady, and she's expecting the foul. So that's what I'm talking about. Be smart, make a good decision. And she kind of just holds it there thinking they're going to foul her. Great job by Tennessee. They'll have another shot at it.
So trying to figure out who's going to inbound. It's going to be Jordan Walker at the 3-quarter court. Horston gets it. Tennessee with the chance to win it or tie it. Davis puts it up. No good. And that's how this one ends. Georgia able to hang on with a 57-55 victory over Tennessee. And how about the Bulldogs completing the season sweep of the Lady Vols?
Jordan Isaacs, one of the non-seniors in the starting lineup, comes up with the big defensive stop. We knew this was going to come down to a last-second shot. Rennia Davis has proven to be clutch, but the defense for Georgia leads the way, and they get the stop. Really been the story of the game for the Lady Bulldogs.
First season sweep of Tennessee since the 1984-85 season. A huge win for Joni Taylor's group as the Bulldogs continuing to look up, up, and up with great play all season long for Steffi Sorensen and our entire crew. I'm Tiffany Green saying so long. We'll get you over to Florida and Missouri with Eric Freed and Christy Thomas-Scuddy. What's up?